Hey, this is Tony with Salt Strong, and in this video I wanted to answer a few questions some people have had in regards to travel rods or 2, 3, or 4-piece rods, whatever the case may be, as long as you have to put them together and take them apart. And the biggest issue I'm seeing that people are having is that their pieces of the rods are getting stuck together. So I want to talk about some tips to help prevent that from happening. So first, let's talk about what you don't want to do, and then I'm going to talk about some sort of preventative maintenance types of things that you can do to keep your rods from getting stuck together. So the first thing you don't want to do is when you're putting your rod together, you don't want to slam the two pieces together. You don't want to put the two ends together like so and then slam it shut. Because what's going to happen is if you don't have a hollow cavity in your rod, what you're doing is basically you're creating a vacuum. You're pushing the air out quickly from inside the rod, and those two pieces are going to get stuck together. Same principle if you ever stacked 5-gallon buckets together. When you put them together, it pretty much creates a vacuum, and it's almost impossible to pull those buckets together. So when you do put your rod together, and also when you take it apart, you simply just want to put the two ends together and start slowly twisting it in place until it's nice and snug and secure. Then make sure those guides are lined up with your reel seat. That way you have your rod in line, and then you're good to go. And same thing when you take it apart, just slowly twist that rod and start pulling it apart. Now, another thing that you don't want to do is you don't want to lubricate the ends of the rods where they come together. It sounds great, it's definitely going to keep them from sticking, but it's also going to cause them to come apart very easily, which you don't want to do, especially when you make a cast or while you're retrieving a lure or anything like that. The pieces of the rods may start twisting or just come apart, so do not lubricate the ends of the rods. Now, as far as some tips on sort of some preventative maintenance, and also while you are storing your rods, when you take your rod apart at the end of the day, something else that will cause your rods to sort of get stuck together is you have to understand when something heats up, it expands. So if you're out in the sun all day, you put your rod together in the morning, you're out there in the sun all day, and at the end of the day you can't get it apart, it's probably because those pieces have now expanded because of the heat outside, and it's going to be tough to get them apart. So keep your rod together, maybe rinse it down with some cool fresh water, and that will help those pieces come back down to their normal size. It's not a big difference in size, but it's just enough to expand that area and get it stuck together. So let it cool down and then try to take it apart. And once you do have those pieces together, after every trip, make sure you wipe down each end. Rinse them off with fresh water when the rod's apart, and then make sure it's nice and dry and clean on both ends. And the end that is hollow, whichever end is hollow, I recommend taking a Q-tip, not one that is too big that it's going to actually push debris down into there. Make sure there's enough room for it to clear, and just go straight down the middle without touching the sides, and then just start twirling it as you're coming out. And what that's going to do, it's going to help pull debris out and pull salt and dirt and all that out instead of pushing it in. So if you've ever cleaned weapons or anything like that, the barrel of a gun, something they recommend is not going straight down the barrel and pushing all that debris into the gun. Take it completely apart and make sure that debris comes out of the barrel. Same thing when you're cleaning the ends of these rods that come apart. Now lastly, when you go to store these rods, make sure you store them completely apart. You don't want to keep all the parts together assembled, because if there is any sort of salt or debris or dirt or anything on the ends of the rods, even if you think you clean them really well, what can happen is they can get stuck together from corrosion, even if it's just a day or two. So definitely make sure when you store your rods, take them completely apart and then put them in a rod tube or in your rod holder or something like that, where they'll be nice and safe and secure. Now, if you want to see some additional tips on rod and reel maintenance, preventative maintenance, be sure to check out the link down below if you're watching this on our main site. If you're watching this on YouTube, be sure to go to our main website and check out the full post where we have those related links and also an article based on the video. So definitely check that out. So that will wrap up this video. If you have any questions or comments, or perhaps some additional tips on two-piece rods, whether it comes to storage, maintenance, or even a way to get them unstuck if they do happen to get stuck, definitely let us know down below. Until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.
Hey there, it's Joe Simons, one of the co-founders here at Salt Strong, and have you claimed your free pack of these irresistible Slam Shady Paddle Tail lures? We designed this lure with over 12,000 serious inshore anglers, including many full-time guides, to go out there and catch more redfish, more speckled trout, more snook, more flounder, more inshore saltwater slams. And if you want a free pack to try out a sample yourself, click down below right now. We have one free pack per angler while supplies last. Click down below right now.